You no longer have excuses. One of my students, all the way from Kenya in Africa, just grew his agency from $0 to $20,000 per month by working with personal injury law firms. His English accent is not the first, and he's not from America, and his internet connection is not the best. He did not allow this to stop him from growing his agency to over $200,000 per year. In today's interview, I'm going to share with you exactly how Roger was able to grow his agency, how he got started, the struggles that he had to go through, the obstacles that he had to go through by having bad internet connection, not being American based, not having English as his first, language or accent, and how he's able to now pretty much make close to $250,000 per year with his marketing agency. So if you like these interviews, let me know in the comment section below, drop a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, guys. So today I have Roger all the way from Kenya. He actually started his agency a couple years ago. He scaled it all the way to $20,000 per month with his SMMA. And so for those of you guys who are like, hey, what if I'm in a different country? What if English is not my first language? How can I still get clients from all around the world? Can I still do this agency? Well, Roger is a testament to that. And so today I'm going to be diving in deep on how Roger was able to start and scale his agency all the way from Kenya. And so I think we're going to get a lot of value from Roger in today's interview. So make sure you drop a thumbs up, leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you want me to bring Roger back on future interviews. And I just want to introduce Roger, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jordan.
Awesome, man.
How's your day going?
I think for a long time, I guess, we were talking a little bit before, I've been trying to schedule you to interview you, but obviously you're busy, I'm busy, and we've been planning this interview for a really long time, but I've been wanting to get you on and
Almost
kind of share your story with all the just SMA owners around the world. So we can just to get started, take me back, bro. How did you get into the agency game? How did you hear about it? And how did you get started?
Yeah, so it was about 2020. I was watching a video of Bia Heza. So he's a really good YouTuber. He does videos about e-com and all that good stuff. So it was like 2020 on March. I saw his video about drop shipping. And then I built out my Shopify website, ran some ads, wasted a bunch of money, like almost maybe $500.
Right.
I thought it's gonna work. But clearly you need a couple of thousands of dollars to make e-com work. I think it's one of the hardest ventures you can ever do as a beginner. So after I saw his stuff and failed at that, I started doing drop servicing. I did some other affiliate stuff. None of that worked. And then that's when I came across Iman Gadzi and then you next. And then that's when we started working together.
That's awesome.
That's a brief overview of how I got started.
Yeah, bro. And when I first started this whole online internet marketing stuff too, I started with drop shipping as well. And it did okay, but obviously you need some type of capital, and people don't understand that drop shipping is not really, I don't see it as a really sustainable business, because a lot of people who get into drop shipping, they don't really create a brand around it. So you're constantly having to run ads and sell it. Whether in comparison to if you were to learn a service, something that you could, tangibly help someone grow their business through your own skills, that's going to be a much more long-term and sustainable business. And that's how we got into the agency stuff. But yeah, I know you said that you mentioned, you learned about Iman Gadzi, and that's kind of how you got into the SMA space. And then can you talk about how you found me and then how we started working together and things like that?
So one of the things that drew me to your channel was obviously you're posting videos about how you're getting clients. So I knew you were actually doing you're deep down in the weeds of the agency stuff. Sorry, what was your question? I forgot.
Yeah, how did you find me, and then how did we start working together, pretty much?
So I was doing research on what industries I should go after, and that's when I came across your channel. And then one thing that drew me to your channel was you had really good results with the clients that you're working with, and then you were able to retain clients for a long period of time. Because I knew I had to get both of those things right for the system to work, because I didn't have a lot of money. I needed to sign one client and keep them for at least 6 months to a year so that I can have enough money to spend on ads, spend on courses, spend on software. So I really had to have those two systems working. And from what you were sharing on your YouTube channel, I knew you were getting results for lawyers. And then I also knew you were able to retain them for a long period of time. So I guess that's how we started working together.
Gotcha. And I think one of the most important things in the agency game that a lot of people don't talk about is being able to retain your clients, right? It's always how do I get my next client? And although that's really important too, it's actually more important to be able to retain your existing existing clients, because in the long run, that's how you're going to actually build an agency, right? And that way you're not in a hamster wheel having to chase after new clients. So
I don't know if you know this, but at the time, I didn't have access to Stripe. I didn't have access to PayPal. So literally, if you didn't help me at that particular time, I don't think I'd be where I am right now. Because I had a client, yes, I had his credit card information, but then I wasn't able to process any payments because they're a bit stricter with foreigners. You can get processing, difficult to get bank account details. Now I figured that stuff out as I was in my journey, but then in the beginning, I think it was really difficult for me to start if you didn't help me with the other processing and the other stuff. So I'm grateful.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm really happy that we've been able to work together for such a long time, and seeing where you started to where you are now is just incredible to see. And I know that payment processing was like one of the issues that you ran into early in your agency part. A lot of people,
big issue.
Yeah, a lot of people in different countries who aren't able to have access to PayPal, Stripe, and things like that. They run into that issue. But for those of you that are running into this issue, like Roger didn't allow that to stop him from scaling his agency. He still figured out ways to process that payments and do things, whether it's collaborating with people like myself, or just asking people for help, right? And just getting that off the ground. So yeah, big ups to you. I mean, credit goes to you for just going out, putting yourself out there and figuring it out, instead of saying, oh, you know what, I can't payment process, so I can't do this, right? Instead, you constantly just try to figure it out. Okay, so the big question is, obviously, as a new agency owner, obviously you start from scratch. Did you have any marketing experience, anything about digital marketing going into this agency stuff?
So I had no experience in terms of marketing. Now I did computer science in university. So I knew all the things about software, automations, and all that stuff. But as far as marketing goes, I didn't have any experience with regards to that.
Yeah, and that goes to, and I think that's why this business is one of the best businesses to start, online businesses to start, is because you literally don't need to have any experience. You don't need a degree. You don't need certifications. You don't need someone to say, hey, you can do this, or you don't need to be in a certain location. You can literally start your business right now from scratch, knowing nothing, inside your bedroom, like myself and yourself. I started off in my parents' bedroom, in a little 150 square foot bedroom, and now I'm living in a penthouse. So I think for those of you that are like negative beliefs on, oh, can I do this? Can I do this? Yes, you can. You absolutely need nothing to get started. So how did you get your very first client, Roger? Can you kind of walk us through from the beginning on how you were able to land your first client? Because that's the biggest obstacle that most agency owners have.
So I think there were some videos on your website, or I watched some video about scraping emails. And then I sent a bunch of cold emails. I was sending 2,000 emails per day to any type of lawyer located in the US that I could find their email. So I sent them a cold email. We hopped on a call. It was actually a Skype call with some really shitty headphones. It's a really shitty audio. And then I closed them, and then I couldn't take payment. So that's when you came in and helped me with that other stuff.
And then how much did you close that first client for?
I think my first retainer was $1,000.
$1,000. And hey, that's better than me, man. My first client, my first lawyer client that I closed, was actually only $500, right? So okay, so you basically watched a couple of videos on my channel, and I try to provide just so much value on my channel as well, just a lot of free content. You just go through, you can literally learn how to start your agency, how to get your first client, how to get paid, and that's exactly what Roger did. So essentially what you did, Roger, was you scraped a list of emails, and then you were sending out about 2,000 emails every single day. Okay, and then did that marketing flags, how do you know those emails were going into the inbox, or you didn't know?
So I think there's a tool called Gmail. They have a spam checker, so you can send emails to the spam checker and then confirm if your email is landing in spam. So once it starts landing in spam, then you can just wait a couple of weeks, and then that should get fixed really quick. It's not a big issue.
Gotcha. Okay, so you were sending about just thousands of emails per day, just mass volume emails every single day, and the whole purpose of that email was to book some sort of discovery call, correct?
Yeah.
And so how many calls would you say you booked before closing that first deal, that first client for $1,000?
Around maybe 20 to 30.
Okay, so you had
a bit less than that.
Okay, so you had
maybe
talked
20
about
calls.
So you're saying you had talked about 20 to 30 people before you closed your very first deal?
Yeah, maybe a bit less. I can't remember very well because I wasn't tracking stuff back then.
Okay.
So I would say like maybe 20 people before I got my first client, or maybe less. I can't remember.
Gotcha.
But it
Gotcha.
was no more than 30 people.
And then you said that you had some crappy internet, crappy headphones, and
Yeah.
microphone as well, right?
I mean, most of it was out of choice because I didn't want to like buy that stuff before I'm making money. But then, yeah, I did have some shitty. Looking back, I really had some shitty headphones and some.
And Roger, dude, like that's nothing to be ashamed of, bro. Like honestly, like
Yeah,
that just makes a story sound so much better. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like that just makes a story sound 10 times better, and for such an inspirational story for those people out there who want to get started. Maybe they're in a country where they're things are not able to afford things like that. Because I remember when you and me first met on Skype or Zoom, I remember, bro, your internet connection was terrible, man. I think you like called me off your phone and it was like very laggy. Like I couldn't even see you because it was like very pixelated and things like
Yeah.
that. So now that like I'm seeing you in a better internet connection, I can see, you're dripping now, and I can see, better internet connection. I think it's really awesome to see, bro. That's really cool. And I think that again, like that just didn't let you, you didn't allow that to stop you from starting up your agency. Like you didn't have the right equipment. You didn't need the equipment. You just needed the necessities to do that. Your internet connection wasn't the best. It was probably laggy, and things like that. You mentioned that you had taken about 20 calls before landing your first client. A lot of people would have given up. Wait, like after maybe like their third call, if they even get to that third call, right? You had taken 20 sales calls or 20 calls with strangers with not the perfect English accent, bad internet connection, and still was able to land your first client for $1,000, man. That's kudos to you, man. That's just a really, really big milestone. And I hope that you don't under appreciate what you were able to do, because even for me, like I still tell my friends and family, like, dude, I know this guy from Kenya. He scaled his agency. His internet connection is terrible. Like he just absolutely made no excuses, and he was still able to grow his agency. So I think, you're one of like the stories that I still tell people, and I think that's really amazing. Okay,
Yeah,
so
so I typically tell people once you get into like SMMA and business, you're just in a business of solving problems. Like I could have been in another country and I would have faced maybe other problems, way easier problems, but you're still in the business of solving issues. So if you're looking to start an agency, the first thing that you should realize is that you're going to encounter problems. And instead of anticipating like the problems you're going to encounter, you should just take one step at a time. So send your cold emails. If you don't have a way of processing, sign up your first client and figure out a way to get the payment sorted out. If you can do fulfillment, get payment, find somebody who can do the
yes.
fulfillment for you, and find a way to learn. So all you're just doing is constantly fixing one problem after the other. It's like
One
a
step at
ladder
a
of
time.
problems you've, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's really important, Roger. I think that's a really, really great tip for any kind of business owner and agency owners out there, is that so many people are so worried about perfecting and creating this game plan of perfecting their
Yeah.
agency before going out there and getting your first client and actually getting paid. I think the most important thing that you need to do is just take one step at a time, like Roger mentioned, just one foot in front of the other, and not have to worry about the fulfillment, the payment processing, the rest, right? Really just figure out what you need to do next to get the needle moving, to get the ball rolling, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I got to scrape emails. Boom. Now I got to start reaching out to people. That's what you got to do. But don't worry about the fulfillment, your website, your logo, your colors, your contracts or whatever, your business name, whatever it is, or you're setting up your LLC. None of that matters, guys. Like, yes, it's all important steps of your agency, but in order for you to get started is to just taking that first step. And I think that's so important. That's like the number one thing that I see a lot of not just agency owners, but business owners run into in general is like, hey, I need this equipment. I need the contracts. I need the LLC. I need the logo to look good. I need the website to look good. But in actual reality, you don't need any of that yet. The thing you need is to get paid. So
Yeah.
super cool tip.
And the thing about the world loves risk takers. Once you start taking risks, like the world opens up to you. They start providing you with circumstances, situations. I don't know what to tell you, but the world loves risk takers. Once you start assuming some risk, the world is gonna like hold you up and lift you to some.
100%. You need to figure out your why, strong why in the reason you're doing the agency. Because if it's not a big enough reason for you wanting to do this, then you're not going to want to continue, and eventually you're going to stop. So I kind of want to talk to you, Roger, about how you've been able to scale your agency since you're getting your first client. Obviously, you got your first client for $1,000. $1,000 with a lawyer, and I'm sure that you continue your cold emails and things like that. But what do you think really helped you grow your agency from, you know, that first 1,000 to 20,000? What did you do to scale your agency?
First, I started sending more cold emails at the time, and then I started spending money on, like Homozi says, this SMMA 500. So I started buying courses, I started buying mentorship, and then obviously I spent money on Facebook ads. So those are the three ways I scaled the agency: sending more cold emails, spending money on ads, spending money on mentors,
Gotcha.
and
Okay. So
and
basically
stuff
how you
like
scaled
that.
your agency was obviously you stuck with what was already currently working. You just you consistently sent out more cold emails, and that got you some clients. And then you started running paid ads and you got mentorship, right? And all this came after you were able to just take one step at a time, land your first client, use that money and put it towards more systems, more tools, more softwares, mentorships,
Yeah,
paid ads. And that's how you've been able to scale your agency, right?
yeah, in a nutshell.
Super cool. Can you kind of share with us like your sales process? Because I know you mentioned that, you know, obviously like English is not your first accent. People know that you're not a US based person or whatever the case is. What type of like struggles or obstacles did you go through or still maybe currently go through when it comes to sales? And, you know, how do you overcome that? Can you kind of walk us through your sales process on closing your clients?
So when I was doing cold email, I was doing a two-step call. So I did the discovery, and then after the discovery, if they were qualified and if they were willing, then would book a Zoom call, and I would go over like some of the clients that we had at the time. So I would show them like actual emails, the actual results, like the actual
Results.
account. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now my system has changed a bit because I'm running ads. So I normally have a survey. So the survey captures the lead information and all that good stuff. And then they watch a video about what we do, the clients we've worked with, who we've helped. And then once they watch that video, they book a call. So already once before they even hop on the call with me, they already know my accent may be something that could be a hindrance to them, but then they've already had me talking. They've
Yep.
seen me
They're already
explaining the
familiar with you.
system. Yeah, they already know like how I speak. It's not really a big issue nowadays. I actually don't find it was actually a mental issue for me at that time. I don't believe my accent is a hindrance at this time. Now it could be, but it doesn't serve me any purpose believing it is. So I just believe that it's not a hindrance and it doesn't become one.
Gotcha.
So right now my sales process is they watch the video, and then we hop on a Zoom call. I do the discovery and then the closing, the pitching at the same time.
Okay, so you do the discovery and the close on that call.
Because it's I discovered when you're doing Zoom, it's simpler for people to be more open with you, more vulnerable. So it gives like a one-on-one
A face
personal.
to face.
Yeah. So if it
Gotcha.
was a call, it would have been easier to like disregard the call, say that you can't understand my accent. But then once we're on Zoom, like you're invested, you really want to see how the system works.
Gotcha. Okay, so kind of like to recap, you basically run, you know, some sort of ads, and then
Yeah.
they fill out a form, or does it take them
A
directly
survey.
a survey?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they fill out a survey, and then and then from that survey, it takes them to a page where they can watch your video presentation about what you do,
Yeah.
right? And then from there, after they watch it, they are able to book a call with you. On that call with you, they book a Zoom call with you, correct?
Yeah.
So they book a Zoom call with you, and then from there you walk them through your, what do you call, like a pitch deck, kind of like sharing what you do, how it works, and then at
Yeah.
the end is where, hey, do you want to move forward? Correct?
Yeah. So before I pitch them, I have to discover like what they're currently doing and where they want to be. So whenever there's like a gap of where they are to where they want to be in the next 6 months, that's where I put my solution. So if the gap doesn't exist, or if they're not willing to open up about the gap existing, of like say they're doing 5 cases and they want to get to 10 cases.
Mm-hmm.
So I show them how they can get the additional 10 cases using the system. So
Gotcha.
that's basically how. But before I do the pitching, I do the discovery, and that's why I discover like the gaps in whatever they're doing.
Gotcha. So on that call, are you doing discovery first and then showing, is it like a presentation that you show them on the Zoom call, or is
Yeah.
it just like a face-to-face talk?
So I do the discovery first because you have to discover the problems first, and then I
Mhm.
do the pitching.
Oh, gotcha.
Now
And in
during the
that
call,
pitch
I
is
customize the pitching to the gaps that they told me
gotcha. Okay, so
that
on the
they.
call, discovery, face-to-face, hey, what are you currently doing? What are
Yeah.
your goals? And then from there, you gather the intel, and in the pitch, it's like, all right, hey, this is exactly how we're gonna get you from point A to point B. Here's how
Yeah.
we're gonna do it. Is that something now at the end? Do you want to move forward? Correct?
Yeah.
Man, that's incredible, bro. And I think what you also mentioned, which is also really powerful, is your presentation, right? Your VSL presentation is that people are now already familiar with you. They already know what you sound like. They already know that you provided some sort of value and you provided some sort of proof that you're able to help them. So by the time that they book on a call with you, they already know what to expect. They've already know what you sound like. Maybe you have a picture of what you look like. So they're already familiar with you. So that just eliminates that issue of, hey, like, is that gonna
Trust.
be a deal, right? A
Yeah.
deal breaker. Super incredible, man. So the sale process, everything like looks really good. What type of like obstacles? Well, before we get there, what does like your close rate look like? If you don't mind sharing, like with the cold leads, obviously, like it's gonna be you're talking to cold leads, so it might not be the best, but are you comfortable sharing like about how many people you talk to before you close a deal, maybe?
So like for example, I think was it this month I signed, is it 2 clients? Maybe 15 people showed up for the call. So I pitched 15 people, about 2 of them closed. Or
Okay,
maybe
gotcha. That's
12
good. I
people,
mean,
two
I
of
mean
them
that's
closed.
about I mean
Yeah.
that's about I'd say like a 12-15% close rate, which is
Yeah.
average,
Yeah.
which is like right there with
But
cold.
I'm working to improve that. I bought some courses, I'm doing some work. So typically I want those numbers to get to like 40% at a time like this next year.
Gotcha. So right now you're currently working on some systems, maybe to warm up the leads a little bit more. So that way
Yeah.
you can get that close rate up to 40%. Super cool, man. Like, and I think for me, like for myself, like we sign about 2 to 5 clients every single month for like the last 2 years. I've done 0 outbounds, and it's all through like organics, right? I just create organic videos, like as you know. People watch the videos, they book a call with me, and my close rate is like really up there. It's a 1 call close rate. I close maybe about 80 to 90% of the people that book a call with me. I don't have a packed calendar, but the ones that do book a call with me, I'm like, all right, I'm likely to really close that person.
Yeah.
So that's been like the luxury of it. And what I've learned is that, even for cold leads, is that, yeah, the close rate is going to be a little bit lower, but how can we figure out ways to warm up the leads more? So by the time we hop on a call with them, they're ready to rock and roll, right? So is it sending up more case studies, more testimonials prior to them hopping on a call with us, right? So yeah, man,
Yeah.
that's super cool. Continue to build out your systems to warm them up. What are your goals? Like, what are you looking to do with your agency? I know that you got some systems going on. Like, what are you looking to do? What is your final goal with the agency stuff? Is there like a revenue number or?
So I'm looking to build out my agency to where I can have enough cash flow so that I can build a software. My expertise, my passion is building software. I love coding. Coding was what I studied.
Nice.
So my eventual path is building like a cash flow system, then investing that money into some sort of software that I can exit in a couple of years.
Man, that is dope, bro. That is dope. What kind of software did you have in mind? Did you have anything in mind?
I don't know, but it might be PI related, so personal injury, the lawyers that I'm working with, because I have some good insights to some CRMs, some systems that they would need.
Oh man, that would be killer, bro. That would be killer. So,
Yeah.
okay, so one of your goals, your passion is to create, CRMs, a software for your clients. What about like location wise? Do you plan on living in Kenya forever? Do you ever go on vacations? Do you ever go anywhere, or what are your goals with that? What are your plans with that?
Obviously, I will be at some point. I'll be relocating to some place in the US because I want to be around. I want to be consistently around like top entrepreneurs, top people in the game. So eventually, like that's a goal. And then, but in the meantime, before I can work that out, I'm looking at South Africa, Mexico, and like the
Gotcha.
typical like entrepreneur
Yeah, for
countries,
sure.
Dubai and all that stuff. Yeah.
And Roger, like I've been doing my agency stuff for like since 2018, 2019. And I've been so like focused on just working that I've never really got to meet a lot of entrepreneurs like face to face in person. Like obviously like we've chatted like over email and
Yeah.
things like that. But I haven't had really a chance to really meet people in person. And
Yeah.
I did so like this last week. I went to Colombia and I met with about 5 other agency owners who are doing about 20K a month and up. And it is awesome to be around those type of people, man. Like you feel like they're your right group of friends. You're in the right
Yeah.
group because you guys can now communicate and be on the same level. Like with a lot of my friends right now, like it's just for fun, and they just don't really understand sometimes like where we come from as entrepreneurs and
Yeah.
as digital marketers. So just being around them, we went to Colombia recently, and it was a whole mastermind. Each person took turns sharing what worked for them, and so I got a lot from it. I learned a lot. I'm gonna be implementing some of those systems, outbound system, to get more clients, scaling the agency, just refining the whole business to grow. And it's an amazing thing, and we're probably gonna do another one in about 4 to 6 months. So we're probably gonna pick a location. If you like to join us, I'm extending my invite to you, and you be able to meet you in
Definitely.
person, and you can meet all the other agency owners in person.
Yeah.
And it's just a really amazing community, man. Like after that was my first time ever doing it, and I was like, I don't really know how it's gonna be, like how these people are, but man, they were really cool people, and I was like, hey, I would actually hang out with these people like on a consistent basis. So we're planning on doing things like that. I'm gonna probably invite more agency owners who's also in my group, who's doing about a certain level in the agency and whatnot, so that we can all connect, learn from each other, and ultimately help each other grow, because that's the whole purpose of it. And being able to travel too.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So Roger, yeah, I mean that's pretty much like the interview, bro. I appreciate having you on here so much. I know we've been wanting to connect for a long time. I think I learned a lot. I think a lot of the viewers are gonna learn a lot. Just one last thing, like I'm gonna use like this part of the let me just all right, go ahead, Roger.
So, hey, my name is Roger. I run a PI agency doing 20K per month right now with my agency. I started about 3 years ago, and Jordan was like the key part to my agency working. At the time, I had $0 in my account. Right now, where I am, I'm a multi-millionaire, so it's been a long process, a difficult one. But Jordan has been there to help me throughout the entire thing. And sincerely, I'm internally grateful for all that you've done for me in the past couple of years of us working together.
Super cool, bro. All right, guys. So I just want to thank Roger so much for hopping on this interview with me. I know he dropped a lot of value. Roger, is there like any last words you want to share with the audience? Any maybe where they can find you or anything like that? Now's your
So I think if you're starting out, like I said at the beginning of the call, like don't anticipate like the issues you're gonna encounter. Just take one step at a time, and eventually you're gonna get there. As long as you don't quit, it's a proven process. People have done it before. There's no reason as to why you can't be able to do it. And if I was able to do it from 1,000 miles away, then I think it should be pretty easy for you wherever you are to make the system or whatever you're doing work.
Definitely, man. It's a proven process. And if myself can do it, if Roger can do it, man, anybody else can do it. I'm telling you, man, Roger did not allow anything to stop him. All these obstacles. Congrats to you, Roger. I hope that you continue to grow your agency, brother, to wherever you're at. And I hope that we can, one day connect in person. I'm pretty sure we will make that happen for sure. And we'll be able to learn a lot from each other as well. But until then, man, I'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you so much for hopping on this interview with me.
Yeah, it's been an amazing time. See you in April when we
for sure, brother. All right, man. Take care. All right. I'll let you go now.
Bye-bye.